Hey guys, how's it going? Let me set up this room real quick and then we can get started. So let me just post everything up and set up the settings and we should be good to go. February 3rd. This year's flying by. All right, let's see what else we got here. I took this scalp here for US 30. Probably should have kept it on, but it's still dropping right now. Reason why I closed it was because we're getting close to 6:30. The market starts to move a little crazy. Obviously, you can see right here, it's starting to dump pretty heavy. I should have just kept mine open. Pretty much a hop in real quick for another quick scalp. Let's see. Currently hopped in, quick scalp. Let's see how far it drops from here. Let me finish posting up this link and stuff. Closed out. That was quick. I don't know if you guys saw that. I closed out right here. I hopped in right here, and then I closed out really quick. Hopped in like right there, and I closed out when it got to right here. So I closed out for like 200 pips. I got kind of scared for a second because market, look at the market I get on a market open. It's going to start to swing back and forth. Let me check that real quick. Oh man, it's too slow. I only locked in about like 40 bucks. It's not that bad. Profit's profit. All right, let me go ahead and post up this link real quick and then we can get started, guys. So that was quick. Freaked out for a second. All right, let me post up the link right here on the Telegram. We should be good. Guys, so these past couple of weeks, I've been having issues with the YouTube streaming. So hopefully it's a smoother ride today. But I have a feeling it's gonna disconnect around the same time, around like 9:30. So let's try to get through all the questions right away. If you guys do have questions, so I can knock them out before we might run into that issue again. So let me see. Oops. Move this over here, or else I gotta post it a few other places. I think one last place I have to post it is the Instagram real quick. So let me just finish that, and then we should be good to go. All right, all sent out. Last place is the Instagram, and I'll check the chat right now, guys, as soon as I'm done looking at that. Let me see if the chat is working. Is the chat working? Send a message in the YouTube, guys, to see if it's working, because it's had issues this past couple weeks. So let me just post this on the IG real quick. Copy that link. I'm waiting for this next scalp entry. I'm not going to hop in right now, but I'm definitely waiting for the next one. All right. Post this up on the Instagram. All right, I think we should be good. So let me go and check this out over here. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Matej. Hey, Nazareth. Hey, David. Hey, J Kicks. Hey, Sasquan. Hey, Eric. Hey, Byron. Spencer. Mary. Hamizan. Indra. Morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great week so far. I just scalped this over here, this US 30. I just woke up like less than 30 minutes ago. And then immediately when I woke up, I saw this scalp here. So I took it right away. And then that hit full TP. Obviously, this is the one that I posted in the group. So this hit full TP. I'm waiting for this to swing back up. Oh, actually, there's another one right here. I missed this one. Let's see. It's another scalp right there. But I might hold off on it because this opening candle is being manipulated. See, maybe I'll enter for like a small or late entry. No, it's a huge spike right there. I don't think it's something I mess with. I'll catch it on its way back down. So I'm going to watch this. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to watch it. Maybe enter for a late entry or something. Yeah, because there's actually a lot of good entries last night for US 30 here. There's let me see if there's another one here. Yeah, there were a bunch of scalp entries like this right here. We have the rejection off the pivot and the structure. So there's two entries right here. There's one right here. Oh, there's two. 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5. 5 possible entries. Yeah, that's good that I didn't take that trade because the opening candle is always manipulated, guys. So right here, 630. Obviously, it's a huge spike up. It's an opening candle. But yeah, 5 entries right here. Let's see. 6 right here. 7 actually. Yeah, so about 7 entries right here. So from let me see what time is this. From about London open midnight up until now, there's about 7 entries for US 30. If you take all these scalps here for 500 pips each, that'd be 500 times 7, 3,500 pips in profit. So that's not bad at all. I might hop into this scalp though if this ends up closing right here. So if this ends up closing, the one following the opening is fine. It's just the opening one that's usually a bit risky. This has about 4 minutes left on it, but I'm going to go ahead and watch it and I'll see if that ends up playing out. If there's any questions that you guys have, put them in the chat and I can take a look at, any pair that you guys want me to analyze, or if there's anything specific that you're scalping. Because I know there's a bunch of questions in my Telegram. If you guys send me a message on Telegram or through email, I haven't gotten to those messages yet, guys. So I will be checking them eventually, but just not right now since I'm busy with this live session. Here, let me just check the email real quick to see if there's anything that's pressing and important right now. I think a lot of this stuff can wait. All right, cool. So I think we're good for the most part. Let me go check out the chat real quick. Hey, morning, Gonzo. Morning, Sam. Morning, Slava. Morning, Peter. Morning, Matt. Morning, Talanji. Morning, Deswell. Morning, Flynn. Morning, everybody. So yeah, this week is obviously, if you guys aren't familiar with NFP, this is NFP week. There's a lot of manipulation going on in the market this week because there's a lot of data that's being released that's going to cause a huge effect on the economy. It's basically NFP is non-farm payroll. They're going to be releasing the unemployment data for the U.S., which is going to ripple across, all of like pretty much the whole market in general. This is like one of the most volatile weeks of the month, and that's why you see these like crazy spikes all over, right? So because of this crazy spike, I don't know if I even want to take the scalp here because technically this would be a scalp because it wicked off this this candle right here. It wicked off this pivot and it wicked off the structure. So technically this would be a scalp entry, but I'm not going to take it myself. If you guys want to take it, I'll let you guys know when it closes in about 2 minutes. But I'm probably not going to take this. I'll wait for the next one because I just don't want to, or what I'll do is I'll watch it. I'll see how it moves. If it moves back into profit, I'll enter a market sell and I'll catch it for a late entry, but I'm not going to just enter it right away because it just looks like too risky of a trade to enter right now. So let me check out the chat again real quick and see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Sorry, let me just check that after. I think that's good right there. Hey, morning, Karen. Morning, Sam. Let me see if I missed anything here in the chat. Yeah, definitely. So Hamizan wants me to take a look at U.S. oil. So let me see, Hamizan, U.S. oil. Let me see if there's any other questions before we continue. Slava said, "Hi again, bro. Looking good. Let's pop these bulls and bears." Yeah, definitely, bro. I'm just watching this to see what happens. It's closed in about a minute. So in a minute, if you guys want to scalp it, you guys can. I'll give you guys a quick update before it closes. I'm probably not going to take that one like I mentioned. I'm going to wait for it to swing down. And then if it goes in a profit, then I'll just scalp it for even, I'll go for like half a move. So for example, if it swings down here, then I'll just enter late because I just want to be sure that it's actually moving in this direction and it's not going to whipsaw back and forth. Because obviously you can see here it is whipsawing and our stop loss is kind of tight. So you don't really want to hop into a trade if it's whipsawing like that because you might get stopped out. Thanks for reminding Patricia. Patricia's mentioned hit the like button. So if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like the stream, that'll definitely help. And if you guys haven't already, if you guys want more updates from the from YouTube, you know, when I go live, because I do have my live sessions this week. I have about 6 sessions coming up this week. So if you guys want to sit in on those live one-on-one mentoring sessions, just like the stream, follow the channel, and hit the notifications button. That way, when I go live, YouTube will send you an email telling you, like, hey, Shawn's going live. If you guys want to hop in, here's a link. Because I don't share those links. It's just whenever I go live, YouTube will email you. So if you guys haven't already, that'll definitely give you guys updates for all my live sessions. I have about 6 this week. So if you want to sit in on all of them, you guys can sit in on them and just see how I mentor people one-on-one. So here's the entry for that scalp, guys. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to enter it because it's too risky, but I'll be watching it. So if it does swing into profit, I'll probably swing in for a late entry. But it's just too risky right now because this was the opening candle. So you can see obviously huge wick right here and a huge candle move in general. So right here, this candle actually dropped about 800 pips total in like a short 10-minute span. There's actually another scalp entry that's building up right here as well. So if you don't want to take this one, you can probably wait for this one to close for a better entry. But I'll keep watching it, and I might enter manually if I see something that I want to take right here. Matej says, what's going on with the Aussie? So it looks like all the Aussie pairs ended up swinging up overnight. Just looking at the Aussie index over here, it gained a lot of strength last night. So I think, here, let me see. So our odd CHF is back in profit over here. Our odd JPY, we didn't take that trade. We didn't take this trade either. But it looks like all of the Aussie pairs are kind of swinging up right here now, right? So it looks like our odd CAD might be in some drawdown. Yeah, it's in some drawdown, but it looks like it might be coming back down. This is just NFP, guys. This is how the market moves during NFP. You'll see a lot of whipsaws. You'll see price go back and forth. Like I wouldn't be surprised here if this swings up right here and then it just comes crashing down, right? Because that happens a lot during NFP. And we're entering Wednesday. So now we're entering the smoother markets. I know the first couple days are usually pretty choppy, which is why we didn't have so many trades. But yeah, everything else is starting to swing back. Like your GBP right here, position, it was flat for like the entire day. And then now it's dropping back into profit as we speak. Our NZD-JPY over here, it's swinging around a bit, but we'll see how that plays out. I should have just closed out at TP1 last night, but it's all good. I'm going to hold on to it. It looks like the NZD pairs are still bullish, so I'm not really too worried about it. It's just having that slight little pullback. Back to US 30 over here. Yeah, good thing I didn't enter that. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a scalp entry, but I wouldn't have taken it because it was a manipulated candle. It's the opening candle, 6:30, when the New York Stock Exchange opened. So there's a huge burst of volatility right here. And it usually whipsaws back and forth. So I'm probably going to hold off before entering any trades right now for scalping. I'm going to wait for the market to stabilize, determine its direction, and then I'm going to take the trade. So for example, here, if this swings up this way, that's fine, because if it swings back down, we'll just be taking long positions instead of sells. However, if it swings down further and then comes back and retests, then we'll just keep taking shorts, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for it to establish its direction. And then once it establishes its direction, I'll take the scalps in that way. But currently right now, I wouldn't take these scalps, even if these are closing pretty nicely. It's just, it's too risky at this time. So just be patient, guys. Don't like hop in right away. I know I took this scalp up here and this hit full TP, but you can see what happened after that. So obviously I took the scalp right here, full TP. And then that's about it. After that, when the market opened, just crazy, crazy manipulation. So just keep that in mind. I mean, these could technically be good entries. So this is still active if you took this one. And then this would probably be another entry if you wanted to take this one as well. But I would just hold off for a second, guys, and wait for the market to even out. All right, let's see what else we got over here. Yeah, Eric, exactly. NFP week. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. Morning, Super Sam. Morning, Shonda. Morning, City. Morning, Louisa. Hey, Cal said 61% of people are short for US 30. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. If you guys aren't familiar with IG sentiment, usually we use this as a final confirmation. This is the IG sentiment US 30. US 30. And when you guys look that up, you guys can see right here, I just searched that up, and it shows where all the retail traders are. So there's 61% of people are short for US 30. So like this might bounce back and forth between like a short position, but I think it's going to swing up. It's probably you're going to see some random spikes up because you can see here that there's so many people short. So when that happens, the institutions and stuff like to spike price up to stop people out, and then they dump it right back down. And then they just keep doing that over and over again until they shake out these people who are short the market. So that's why we wouldn't really want to take a long position for this. But I mean, we'll see, because we're only scalping these small moves. We're only going 500 pips. We're not going for like 1,000, 2,000 pips. So if we do take short scalps, it should be fine. It's just risky right now. So this position is still technically active. If this closes right here, there'd technically be another position right here as well. But we'll follow it. I'm also going to follow it myself because I want to scalp this as well. I took that first scalp and I'm waiting for the next one. Sorry, guys, I'm checking my messages right here. My Telegram is just blowing up. It's like everyone's asking about the scalps. All right, so we're going to keep watching this right here. Just waiting for this close. We got about 4 minutes left on this candle. Let me set my alerts here for the main US 30 entry. Let me just close all these right here. I have too many alerts open from this week that are irrelevant now. All right, so we're looking at that US 30 scalp right there. I'm going to pull up the other ones just to see if there's any other ones that that people may have taken overnight. So S&P right here. Okay, yeah, it looks like there were a couple entries here that were available for you guys who did take these. Obviously I don't trade S&P, so I did not take any of these trades. But let's see if there's any ones here that people would have taken. So it looks like there's a sell entry right here as well, similar to the US 31 that we just saw. All right, so looking at this right here, let's see. There's actually a bunch here. So there's a couple here on the opposite side. So we have one right here. This is from yesterday, I believe. Yeah, so we had some rejections right here. If you were to take that trade right there, it looks like you would have hit full TP for about 100 pips. What the heck is this, dude? I don't know why it does that. It's randomly popped up on my screen. Oh, it's the Instagram bot. I don't know why it does that. Let me fix this real quick, guys. Sorry, the Instagram bot for the K² page, it does that sometimes. It goes rogue and just pops up randomly. All right, so I got that running in the background. All right, cool. So just going back to, what the heck was I looking at? Yeah, S&P right here. I was looking at this, and there was a couple entries here that happened last night. So, or not last night. This was on the 2nd. So yeah, actually, last night. So this is Asia session right here. A couple entries at this point, and then this is lining up with the US 31 that we're just looking at as well. This rejection point from here, rejection off the structure, rejection off the pivot. and it looks like it swung up this way. So like I mentioned, guys, the market is like crazy for NFP. So I probably would be really careful with your positions. Don't just take random positions. Make sure that it looks really good, because this could happen here. Super drawdown, right? You guys can see that the market's being pushed around a lot, because generally these candles don't really move that much, right? They move about maybe like 400 pips. They move about 300 to 400 pips per candle, right? So this is a London session where it actually moves pretty nice. And then right here on open, this dropped about 100, like over 100 pips. So this is more than double or triple the movement of normal candles for S&P. So this is why I don't want to take that scalp for US 30, because look how much it's spiking around, right? Let's just sit around and watch US 30 for a bit before we decide to take anything, because it's just going to keep spiking around. And this is what we just discussed earlier. Remember when we looked at the IG sentiment? I mentioned that 61% of people are short. So what's happening right now is people are short, right? So people are short the market right now, and the market makers and institutions are just spiking price up because they're trying to kick people out of the trade. Let's see the pending entry over here. We have a pending signal here on the regular. So this is going to be the normal daily entry, guys. If this closes, I guess this would be the entry here. Well, we'll have to see if it actually closes. If you guys are familiar with the daily strategy, this would be the daily one, the first valid momentum signal after market is open. So we're waiting for this right here. If this closes, this could be the daily entry, and then we'll probably be taking some scalps on the upside. So let's see. Doesn't look like it's going to close. We got about 2 seconds. Yeah, no closure there. So no entry on that one. Yeah, be careful with the scalps, guys, because each candle is moving. Let's see. It's moving about 600 pips. So that's enough to stop you out if you end up taking scalps with a 500 pip stop loss. So just, yeah, market is crazy right now, guys. I'd hold off, just watch it. Obviously we'll take some trades when we see something good, but the market is just bouncing too much right now. So if you're scalping, it's going to be really dangerous because your stop loss is going to be too tight. So it might stop you out before it goes into profit. Hey, morning, Vishnu. Yeah, Vishnu said market is as expected, erratic as fuck. Definitely. Keezy said, could a retest could be a retest to continue down after it kicks early shorters. Yeah, exactly. Easy. That could happen right there. That's what I'm waiting for, because I'm waiting for this to just, like, it looks like it's going to range within this area right here. So this is what I kind of see happening. It's probably going to range within the zone right here. So from this area to this area, it's probably going to keep bouncing back and forth. And then once it breaks below, or if it breaks above here, above this area, it'll probably keep going up. If it breaks below here, it'll probably keep going down. So that's what I'm waiting for right here. I'm just waiting for it to establish its direction before I decide to take anything. But it's not going to kick these people out that quick. There's 61% of people are here short. That's a lot of people in the market. So they're probably gonna have to kick out a lot of people before it ends up choosing a direction. So we'll see what happens there. I'm still watching for the daily entry right here as well. So we'll be looking for the daily entry. We'll also be looking for scalps. If you guys see scalps on any other pairs, I can take a look at that too. But the market in general is pretty erratic. So just looking at S&P right here, it's just as erratic as US 30, and then same with NASDAQ as well. I'll look at NASDAQ right here. So NASDAQ, the candles normally move about 83 to maybe 200 pips. But you can see right here, this opening candle, this thing dropped 1,000 pips, right? 837, nearly 1,000 pips. So you guys can see that, these aren't normal conditions right here where it spikes around. That's why we want to wait for it to stabilize before we take any trades, because you don't want to enter trade and then it ends up going reverse from you, right? That's going to be the worst possible scenario if you take a trade and then it just goes the opposite. So just be patient with it, and then we'll wait for this as well. Let me see if there's anything else here. Sorry guys, I'm just checking. I got a bunch of messages here. All right, it's all good. All right, sorry, my Telegram just keeps getting a bunch of messages. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much what we're waiting for here. If this ends up swinging back down, that's completely fine because we'll just catch the next entry as it comes down. We're just waiting for it to establish its direction. Otherwise, I mean, we're pretty much just gonna have to be patient with it until then, because you don't want to enter a trade and then it ends up spiking the other way, stopping you out. So let me see what else we got over here before we get started. Vishnu's in a sell for UK 100. Let me see that real quick. Oh, and you guys are mentioning my car. So I finally picked up the Tesla, guys. The wrap is still curing, and this is a picture in the dark. So I need to take another picture when it gets when it's sunny, so you guys can see the chrome. But this is the blue chrome that I got wrapped on my Tesla. So that's how it looks. It's pretty clean. It's not so bad. It doesn't look as good in pictures, but if you see it in person, it's pretty shiny. I just need to wait for it to cure within the next week or two, see if there's any changes that need to be done. And we're probably gonna get it polished so it gets shinier because it's chrome. So yeah, for you guys that did spot that in my little box right here, that's what it looks like. I'll take some better pictures today. Hopefully if it's sunny today, I'll take some videos and some pictures. And then, yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like in the sun, because it actually looks a lot better in the sun. This is just it's a nighttime picture, and it was pretty dark, so you can't really see the chrome. It just looks like a normal blue. But when you see it in person, it's like legit like chrome, like a dark blue chrome. So it's pretty cool. And the reason why I got this color is, you guys already know why I got that color. I got the color because it matches our what's called our MT4, right? It matches our Profit Blue right here. So it's Profit Blue Chrome. That's why I got that color. So I'll show you guys some more pictures and videos later. I just need to catch it once, it's actually sunny outside. It's supposed to rain this week, so it might be hard for me to catch some sun. All right, so let me check this out real quick and see what's going on over here. Yeah, so Vishnu said that there were some back-to-back entries for UK 100. So I'll just pull that up real quick, and then I'll show you guys what Vishnu's talking about. Yeah, so it looks like there's a bunch of entries here, actually. So let me just mark this up right here. Yeah, wow, there's a whole bunch right here, Vishnu. I'm not sure if you took all of these, but if you did, pretty nice profit off that. Yeah, I'm starting to drop. I think the indices are starting to drop right now. So I'll go back to US 30 shortly. And then we'll see how this ends up playing out right here. All right, yeah, so looking at this right here, obviously there's a bunch of entries. Looks like Vishnu took all these sells right here. So there was an entry right here, right here, right here. So there's about 3 entries right here. Rejection off the pivot in the structure. That would have hit full T, or it's on its way to full TP. There's actually a whole bunch of entries right here. 1, 2, 3. Another one right here, 4. Another 2 right here, 5, 6. So yeah, about 6 entries right here. So Vishnu, I'm not sure how many you took, but if you took all of these right here, looks like you would hit full TP on that, 155 pips. The next one right here looks like another full TP, 155 pips. Another one right here, another 155 pips. One right here, or 3 right here. There's a bunch of entries right here. They all hit full TP. So if you guys took that UK 100 scalp right here, this nice little move down, you guys could have made, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 7 times 150, about 1,050 pips if you took all these trades right here. So let me go back to US 30. Oh, it's weird because it's dumping for UK 100. It's dumped pretty heavy, but NASDAQ is actually going up, and US 30 is going up too. So you guys can see here that the indices aren't moving in unison. They're kind of like, they're all going in different directions. Usually if it's a normal move, they'll go in the same direction, but they're all kind of going different. Like US 30 is like way up here. S&P is up here as well. NASDAQ just swung up from this big drop. So this is why we're taking it easy right now, guys. We're waiting for the market to actually stabilize before we take this trade, because we don't want to enter it and then it ends up going the opposite direction. If this ends up closing right here, this would be a shift in trend. So instead of us taking sell scalps, we probably would be looking for some buy scalps at this point if it ends up closing with a bullish candle where it wicks off the pivot and the structure. So we'll see what's going on with these over here. Let's see. Radimir said, hey, Shawn, so regarding the scalps, we taking scalps in the direction of the pivot always. Sometimes there's a buy signal, but the candles are under the pivots. Not always, Radimir. So you just need to see if the requirements are met. So like, for example, here, you guys can see that it's still below the pivots, right? But if this ends up rejecting off the pivot and the structure down here, see the pivot and the structure rejection? If this happens, it turns into a buy. So we wouldn't be taking buys anymore. I mean, we wouldn't be taking sells. We'd be taking buys instead. So it can shift pretty quickly, Radimir. There's no, like, you shouldn't get too focused on sells or buys, because price can shift up and down, within a few seconds. Like, for example, here, this was going down and then it shifted up within a few minutes. So if this happens and it ends up pushing up this way, and then it retests the pivot coming down this way, and then it swings back up, then we're just going to be taking buys. But yeah, I mean, there's no, like, it's not going to stick in one direction the whole time. If it ends up swinging above and you have the rejection from the bottom, then you'll take the buys right away. Saskatchewan said, yeah, I learned the hard way with that NAS opening, took an L. Let me check the NAS real quick. Oh, this right here, bro. Yeah. So usually when I scalp, guys, I don't scalp like 30 minutes to an hour before market open. Because, like, for example, right here, you guys can see this huge opening spike, right? Normally it doesn't move like that. If you look at all the other NASDAQ candles right here, they move like a max of like 200 pips. Nothing too crazy. Even these regular movements are like less than 100. It's between 100 and 200 pips. But on the market open right here, this dropped like 1,000 pips, 837 pips to be exact. And then it spiked right back up, and then now it's spiking back down. So you just got to be careful with these opening candles. I usually try not to trade off the opening because it's always going to be manipulated. So going back to US 30 over here. Yeah, it looks like, so actually this wouldn't be an entry, because if you guys are familiar with the requirements, this pivot can't touch the body. So this yellow line right here actually cut through this body. So it wouldn't be an entry for a buy. We would have to wait for it to swing up a little higher and then come back down. Higher ups there, come back down, and then we could possibly take it as it, rejects off the pivot this way. So it rejects off that way and then swings back up. Then we could possibly, take this one as well. So we'll be waiting for that. Let me check the questions again, because we had a bunch of questions here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything before we continue on. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to analyze anything, feel free to put them in the chat, and then I can take a look at any pairs you guys want. Okay, so Luisa wants me to take a look at USD MXN. USD MXN. All right, so the first pair I'm going to look at is US oil. I'm going to look at that for Hamizan. So we're going to go to oil over here. US oil, and here we go. So it looks like the markup that I did for you yesterday is kind of playing out right here. I mentioned that if it broke structure, it would continue up higher, right? So it broke structure right here, and it's probably going to continue up higher. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze this from scratch so that the new people here can see how I analyze everything. So here's how I analyze charts. This is a naked chart right here. The first thing I do is I turn on the K2SR indicator. So once I have that on, I'll draw my zones. And these zones are used to help us identify rejection points in the market, right? Because you don't want to be trading where price is rejecting from, obviously. And with this tool here, it gives you a huge advantage because you're able to identify where the precision rejection points are. Because my algorithm over here only detects rejection points where price is rejected at least 2 or more times. So you can be sure that these rejection points are strong. So once we have that there, I'm gonna zoom out from this point. You can see that these zones that I just drew right now were tested back all the way to November of last year. So these are some pretty strong rejection points. We don't have any upper rejection points here. So what we do for that is we turn it back on. We go on the higher time frame, like the 8 hour. Nothing there. We go on the daily. Nothing there. We go on the weekly. And there we go. We have our zones right here. So you guys can see that there's always zones everywhere. It just depends on, you know, what time frame you go on. If there's nothing on your time frame, just go on the shorter time frames or the higher time frames, and you should be able to find zones in your current price point. So there we go. We close this off right here. And it's the same analysis from yesterday, pretty much, Hamizan. Once we have this drawn up, we turn on the momentum indicator and we try to determine the direction of momentum. So this is what I drew up yesterday. I drew up that we had a rejection from this point. We had a buy signal right here. And when we have this, we have a rejection point, buy signal, and price breaks and closes past structure. It generally pushes up to the next structure right here, right? That's usually what happens. What happens after that is if it breaks and closes again, what do you think happens there? The same thing. It pushes up to the next structure up here. So what do you think is going to happen here? The same pattern has repeated itself. Broken close past structure. This is probably going to push up from this point all the way up here. And I'll show you where this plays out. So here's another example of the same exact pattern right here. Right? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You guys can see that we have the rejection right here. It's followed by a buy signal right here. And then what happens when price breaks and closes past structure when these requirements are met? It pushes up to the next structure right here. Exactly what I mentioned right here, right? Rejection, buy signal, break and close past structure, push up. Buy and break and close past this structure as well, pushes up right here as well. So the same pattern just keeps repeating itself. Again, right here, price breaks and closes past structure. We have the rejection, the buy signal, momentum is going up. It pushes up to this structure right here. Then it just goes into consolidation until it repeats itself again. Rejection, buy signal, break structure, continues higher. So that's basically what I see happening here for oil, Hamizan. I see it possibly pushing up, and you can see the strong bullish candle right here is confirming that, right? So we'll come back to this, I guess, maybe later in the week. We'll see if it plays out, but it played out exactly how I mentioned the past couple of days that I analyzed this for you, Hamizan. And it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it does look good for a bullish move right here if you decide to buy this. But let's go back to US 30. Man, look at these messy candles right here. Super messy. So it looks like US 30 is basically just getting chopped up right now. So basically what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to, or let me see if there's new zones here. Not yet. So I'm waiting for a price to break and close past either of these areas right here. Let me change this color. All right, so I want it to either break above here or close below here. Once it breaks out of this range right here, we can determine, you know, what direction it's going to be moving. But until then, here, let me check this real quick. Yeah, until then, it's probably going to keep ranging between here and down here. So just keep that in mind. I'll keep looking at it. Meanwhile, otherwise, I'll go and look at other pairs while we wait for this to confirm. So that's it for US oil right there, Hamizan. I think it's going to be a nice buy if you're in that buy. It should continue to push up higher. Let me see what we have next. Let me go through the chat real quick, see if we're missing anything. Let me check this real quick. There we go. Oh, this is the daily entry right here. I didn't realize this daily entry candle closed. Let me refresh this because I don't remember it being like that. Let's refresh this real quick. I don't know why the candle just doesn't look right to me. Varun's asking if we're taking the daily entry. So this would be the daily entry right here. Let me just see if I could, maybe for a late entry we could, but this is like super messy. So yeah, I guess I'll call this trade for you guys. So if you guys want to take the daily entry, this would be the daily entry using the K² daily US 30 strategy. So basically right here, I'm going to go and set this up. I'm gonna send you guys the trade. It's a risky trade, but if you guys want to take it, it's available to you. Let me just send this out to you guys here. Yeah, so let me check this out real quick. Oh, okay, sorry guys. I'm just following this right here. Mark just gave an update for UK 100. I guess it hit TP. If you guys do want to take this trade, I probably wouldn't take it, guys. It's like you can see how manipulated this candle is, right? It's not really moving smooth at all, but I'm gonna call it anyways. For those of you guys that do want to take it. Let me just set this up right here. Buy stop entry. So make sure you're using the buy stop entry, guys. I mean, if you guys want to get in for a discount, you guys can, but I personally would use the actual buy stop for entering it. So I think everything's pretty much good there for the most part. And make sure to use the exit strategy as well, guys. So I sent that out to the premium members right there. If you guys want to take it, you guys can. I'm going to put a buy stop for mine. I'm not going to enter it right away. I'm just going to put that up over there. Let's see. Man, this is such a risky trade. I'm tempted. I want to enter it, but then I don't. Because look at these candles, guys. Candles are crazy. Let's see, 36.78. It's actually not even that high. It's right here, 36.78. I mean, we'll keep watching it. If you guys want to take the trade, I did call it in the premium. So the parameters are there. But I'm going to hold off and I'm just going to wait before I decide to take this trade or not. It just seems too risky for me. I'm probably not going to take the full move. I'll take some scalps within it, like as it swings back up. But I don't know if I'm going to take the full move. It's just it's a messy looking entry right there. Here, let me see if there's anything else here before we yeah, Eric. So it's a rejection off any pivot, not just one. So I see Chelsea wants me to take a look at. Let me add you to the list, Chelsea. So it hasn't filled yet, guys. A reminder, it's a buy stop, so it hasn't filled yet. Let's see, Chelsea wants me to take a look at CAD-JPY and NZD CHF. Jean said, for some reason on my chart, a buy signal confirmed. Yeah, I just noticed that too. That was why I was kind of shocked when I saw that buy signal there. Flint said US 30 printed a buy signal on a 10-minute, and yeah, everyone got the same thing. All right, cool. So everyone's got that right there. Let me go ahead and analyze the first pair for you guys right here. Or actually, we have one more. Luisa wants me to take a look at USD MXN. So let me check out the US peso. Pull this up right here, USD MXN. I should just add this to my watch list since we look at it so often. All right, so this is it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything off the chart. There we go with our naked chart right here for the peso. For this, I'm gonna turn on the K2SR indicator. And once we have that, I'm gonna draw my zones on the chart for you guys. Change this back to the normal color. There we go. So you guys can see, like, if you guys have these indicators, you guys will be able to analyze the charts exactly how I do pretty quickly. Like within a few seconds, you've got your zones perfectly drawn with like literally no guesswork, because the indicator pretty much does everything for you. It identifies the strongest zones. And then from that point, you can see I just drew the zones from today, February 2nd, or yeah, February 3rd, actually. And some perfectly nice drawn zones. Like these zones have been tested way back in November. And then I think that's about, this is the lowest it's been in a while. Oh, actually, so back in November, and then again, way over here in March of last year, March, February, and way back until 2019. So these are some pretty strong zones. You can see that I just drew these zones today, but you can see that they've been tested back in March of last year, back in 2019, and in 2018 as well. So these are some pretty strong zones going back in data. but I'm going to go ahead and move forward to where price currently is. Once we have these drawn up, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. And right here, if this candle closes with this buy signal, then this could be a good indication that price is going to swing up. So for example, here we have the rejection off this point. And then if we have this buy signal here close, say price pushes up and closes above this structure, what do you think is going to happen here? It's going to be the same thing that I've been discussing, this whole session and pretty much every live session. If this happens right here, you can take a long position and ride it in that direction. I'll show you another example for when this actually played out. Again, down here. So we have rejection down here, buy signal. It broke past the structure right here. So when you see that happen, it generally pushes up to the next structure. Break structure again right here. Pushes up to the next structure. And then so on, right? So again, right here, we have the rejection from this point. Buy signal. Breaking structure right here. And then it ends up pushing back up as well. So look right here, long position, full TP right there, right? So we're looking for the same pattern here for USD MXN as well, where we have the rejection from this point, this buy signal if it closes, and then if it breaks and closes above this structure, odds are it's going to continue in that direction. And it doesn't work only for buys, it works for both directions. Like for example, here we have the rejection right here. It's so simple, guys. Like a lot of people want to overcomplicate trading, but right here we have the rejection, sell signal, breaking structure right there, push down to this structure, another breaking structure right here, push down further, and then right here, it's the same thing, goes back and forth, right? Rejection off this point, buy signal right here, and then it just pushes up. It pretty much bounces from structure to structure, right? Down, up, down, rejection from this point, buy signal, breaking structure, push up, same thing over and over again. So for the peso right here, if this ends up closing with this buy signal, it's going to give that confirmation, setting up for this entry, for that pattern, right? The same pattern that repeats itself over and over again. If I go back in data for any pair, you can see here that it keeps repeating itself. Rejection, sell signal, push down. Rejection, buy signal, push up. Rejection, sell signal, retracement, push down. It's the same thing over and over again. So for the peso right here, if this closes with this buy signal and then it pushes up here and closes, then I would anticipate this to push up even higher. That's pretty much what we're waiting for here. So that's it for that, Luisa. Not sure if you're in the trade already, but if you're waiting for it, I'd wait for this confirmation before you take it, because this is what could happen here. If this ends up pushing up to this point and it fails to break and close past the structure, it can easily swing back down, right? So just keep that in mind. That's why we want to wait for that confirmation for it to actually break and close past the structure, not for it just to break it. Because in some situations, if it just breaks it, that doesn't necessarily mean it has the momentum to continue pushing up. So let's see if there's anything else here before we get started with the next question. City said US 30 scalp to the downside. Let me check. Yeah, these are messy right here, guys. I probably wouldn't mess with this because it's so choppy. It's like I was mentioning. It's exactly what I mentioned earlier, right? I said price was going to range within these two zones right here. So until it breaks and closes past it or below it, then it's probably going to just keep bouncing around within this range. So it's not something that I would want to scalp right now until we have the confirmation of direction, because obviously there's no direction right here right now. It's just bouncing back and forth. And this range right here where it's bouncing is like 1,000 pips. So if your stop loss is 500 pips, you're going to get kicked out every single time if you're not on the proper side while it's moving. So I'd wait for it to probably close below here. Once that happens, we can take that sell and start scalping it downwards. This hasn't filled yet, guys. So I'm hoping you guys didn't take the trade right away. It's still a buy stop. So if this ends up pushing down further, we're probably just going to cancel this right there. Here, let me see if there's anything else over here. All right, so that's it for that. That's it for US 30. Let me see the list real quick, see if there's anything else being asked. So we have another question here from So Vern said, I entered US30 when you said that you're not taking it. It spiked up. I exited already in profit. Nice, Vern. That's smart. Yeah, quick move. Like if you're going to be scalping now, you guys got to be super quick because the market is just moving too crazy. Super Sam wants me to take a look at NASDAQ. Super Sam, NASDAQ 100. And then Idalia wants me to take a look at GBP NZD. So next up on the list, we have CAD JPY for Chelsea, and then NZD CHF. After that, we have NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam, and then GBP NZD for Idalia. So if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go through these pairs that were asked for. So the next one's going to be CAD JPY. Let's see, CAD JPY right here. And I'm going to do the same process that I did earlier. It's the same thing over and over again. Nothing changes. Doesn't matter if I'm looking at indices, looking at Forex, looking at commodities like gold. It's the same exact process every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out from here, turn on the K²SR indicator, and then I'm going to draw my zones so I can identify where these rejection points are. So we got one down here. Got a couple right here. One more right there. Another one right there. That one as well. And then this one right here as well. All right, cool. So we got them all marked up right there. I'm gonna turn off the K²SRs. You know, what I want to do next is let's see the direction of momentum first. So I'm gonna turn on the momentum indicator. And here, I'll just show you guys what the zones look like, right? So I just drew these zones from today on February 3rd. And then you can see that this goes back all the way to, see if I zoom out from here, you can see that these same zones that I just drew right now go way back to like 2020, 2019, 2018. And you guys can see how strong these zones are, right? 2017. So if you guys have these here, you guys will be able to use these to your advantage because you'll see here back in February of 2016, it was in the same price point, right? So if this happens, history just keeps repeating itself. Same with right here. Let's see February of 2017. So at the same time, it's in the same area. February 2018. So every year it looks like February it comes down to these zones and then it rejects off it or it breaks through it. So right here, it looks like it comes down in 2017, then it pushes up, comes back down in 2018, and it pushes back up. So it's the same pattern that keeps repeating itself. Again, right here, 2019 price came down, February, it pushed back up. So if you use that to your advantage, you guys can kind of anticipate what's going to happen here. It looks like it was bullish every time, you know, around this time of the year. So if this happens right here, you know, at the same time, like 6 years later, if this ends up pushing above here, you know, what are the odds that it's going to keep pushing up higher? If it pushes and closes past here, what's probably going to happen is it's probably going to keep pushing up just like it did all those years back, right? So like, for example, here, I'm just going to pull back. This pushed up from here in February. Let's see. December, January, February. February tested the same area where we're at right now, right? This is the same place where I drew that zone. It broke structure right here, and then it shot up from this point all the way up here for like 250 pips, right? So that's a nice move right there if you're able to identify that. Let's see the previous year again right here in 2019. It's the same setup. Look, January. It's like late January. Obviously, the times change a little bit, but right here, late January, January 24th, it's close to our date now. See when it broke and closed past structure? It shot up, right? So from there, you can see how much it pushed up from this entry all the way up here for about 300 pips. So what do you think is going to happen if price ends up breaking that structure again? It's going to do the same thing. So looking at current price right here, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator, look for other confirmations. So it's perfect. Check that out. We have a rejection off this point. So there goes that rejection. We have the buy signal right here. And it actually already tested structure right here. It broke structure and closed right here. But it looks like it's a break and retest pattern, right? So price basically broke structure. It's retesting. And then it's going to swing back up. So that's kind of what I see happening here if we had JPY. I would wait for it to swing back up to confirm that break and retest. And if that happens, this could be a nice push upwards. So I would just keep that in mind if you're still looking at it, Chelsea. But I'd wait for that full confirmation. Or if you want to do this, you can just put your buy stop right here so that as soon as it triggers, it'll just swing up, right? And then it'll it'll execute your position, and then you'll be in the trade. So that's kind of what I see happening here for KJPY. And it definitely does help if you're able to pull up, the previous data and see how it's played out like years behind. So let me go back to US 30 real quick. This trade still hasn't activated, guys. It's a pending buy stop. Here, I'm going to set an alert there so that I can see when it actually fills. So we got that set up right there. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so that looks good for the most part. Let me grab a drink real quick, guys. I'll be back. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Let's see. I'm just gonna grab a coffee, but I guess I'm gonna be healthy today. Watermelon kombucha. Nice. I'm supposed to shake this? No, whatever. I'm just gonna drink it. All right. It's different. Kombucha. You guys have had kombucha before. It's not bad. All right. So back to the charts. What was I looking at again? I was looking at US 30. Oh, I mentioned that this hasn't filled yet, guys. So hopefully you guys can enter it right away because obviously it's moving pretty crazy. Well, who knows? It might swing right back up from this point. So let me check the other indices and see what's going on here. So US 30 still moving down. It was like I mentioned earlier, guys, I would wait for this to break past this structure right here. Once it breaks past it, then I'd probably take some sells or some scalps to the downside. But until then, I'm going to hold off. NASDAQ over here, huge drops all around. Wow, look at these drops right here. So NASDAQ from market open right here, 630, it's dropped about 1,300 pips right there. Let me see this real quick. Don't shake. Yeah, Dave, good thing I didn't shake it. It probably would have popped in my hand right there, huh? So yeah, looking at NASDAQ right here, this thing is dumping like crazy. Same with S&P. So it looks like the indices are starting to move in unison now. So they're all kind of going down. So we could probably, there we go. I broke the structure right there. So we could probably anticipate this to keep dropping. Let me check the UK 100 to see if there's another zone there that could have rejected off. Okay, yeah. So there's actually a big zone right here. One down here. So for the UK 100, looks like there might have been another scalp entry right here, guys. For whoever was taking these trades, I think it was you, Varun, right, or someone else. So it looks like another entry there for UK 100. Maybe not that big of a move. Maybe like 100 pips would be better. But that's one move right there. Scalp move for UK 100. I'm not going to take that, but if you guys did take it, it looks like it's going to swing down right now. US 30 though is looking pretty decent for some sell scalps. Once it ends up closing below here. Let's see if there's any new zones right here that were created. Yeah, nothing yet. No new zones yet, but if it does close below here, it's probably going to continue dropping. I might even take like a speculative, just sell, just let it run, and then see how it plays out. But yeah, I think I'm done looking at KJPY over here. Next up on the list was NZD-CHF for Chelsea. So hopefully this helps with your analysis, Chelsea. I'm going to move on to the next one, NZD-CHF, your second pair. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart. There we go with our naked chart, and zoom out from this point, turn on the K2SRs. And then from this point over here, I'm going to go ahead and draw some rectangles right here to draw my zones. And you guys can see how easy the streamline process is, right? You turn on the indicator, you draw your zones, and you pretty much have some perfectly drawn zones on the chart for you. Got that marked up. That too. Let me get this higher time frame to get those upper zones. Nothing on the 8-hour, nothing on the daily. There we go on the weekly. So the next resistance point or rejection point is pretty far up. It's about it's not super far, but it's about 55 pips away. So it's got some ways to go on there. Let me see if there's anything else here that we can analyze. I'm gonna turn on the momentum indicator. So it's the same pattern, guys, right? It's the same pattern I've been showing you guys this entire day, or like basically this whole year. So basically right here, rejection point, buy signal, and it broke structure. So you see how it broke structure and it was a buy signal? What happened from there? Same thing that I've been mentioning. Pushed up to the next structure right here, and then it closed above here, right? So it closed above here. So what do you expect to happen from here? With that said, same pattern, rejection, buy signal, breaking structure and close, push up to the next structure, break and close past that structure. Now it's in profit. So it's in profit on its way to full TP for 50 pips right there. So Chelsea, I'm not sure if you took this trade. I'm sure you probably did if you're applying the same strategy. But if you did, I mean, you're probably deep in profit right now. It's on its way to full TP. So it's probably going to trace down a little bit, then swing back up to finish off the move for a full TP right there. So that's pretty much my analysis for NZD-CHF. You guys can see here, if you guys have these tools, you guys can easily apply this yourself. Like if you guys look right here, it's the same exact pattern, right? Rejection from here, buy signal right here, breaking close past structure right here. And then what happens from that point? Pushes up to this structure right here, right? Same thing right here. Rejection, buy signal, and it broke and closed past the structure. What happens from there? Pushes up to the next structure. So it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. And if you guys watch all my live sessions, I do this for literally everything and it works. So, you know, that's basically something that you guys can learn as well if you guys want to. If you guys don't have access to these indicators and you guys want access to it, just go on our website, k2trades.com right here, click on K2 strategy course, and you'll have access to everything. You'll have access to the indicators, my watch list, my mentorship, pretty much anything that you guys need to, you know, become a successful trader like the rest of the K2 fam in the group. So I don't know if I showed you guys everyone's profits overnight. I think there was a couple. Yeah, so I save everyone's profits here. Braden locked in about, off those scalps, he locked in about 440 from the US 30 scalps. Not bad for the day. Arik over here locked in about 390 for the day. He took some scalps for gold and US 30. Flynn over here killed it with the Bitcoin. Dude took he's like, I own the crypto market, Shawn. So nice work on that, Flynn. And Flynn does this on his own, guys. I didn't give any of these signals out. These were trades that were taken on their own when they applied the strategies that I teach. So Flynn here again, Euro NZD, nice scalp off that. Kimmy over here killed it, 805. I think Kimmy, you just joined us recently, and she killed it right here, NZD JPY. I actually called this trade NZD JPY, and it was pretty on point with the addition of that US 30 sell scalp as well. So let me see anything else here. Mark right here as well, locked in about 1,483 for US 30 scalps right there. A little more right there for Mark. And then Sisuk over here, obviously, you've seen Sisuk's profits. He's like nonstop on point with those scalps. Spencer as well, he took a few losses, but he made it all back right here. So he said still up for the day. Sisuk again, and just so on, guys. So those are the profits for this morning. I'll give you guys a profit update later today once everyone makes their profits for the day, and then we'll see how everyone else is doing. So it broke right past structure, guys. So it's probably going to keep dropping now, right? With that said, this right here is going to continue dropping, it looks like. So I'm probably going to cancel this, guys. It never filled, so I'm going to go ahead and send the cancellation for that. Let me see. Send the update real quick. All right, I'm just giving you guys an update in the chat to cancel your pending buy stop for US 30. So we're not taking this trade anymore, guys. It's just too far down. And then, you know, that confirmation where I mentioned if it broke past the structure down here, I mentioned that that happened, it's probably going to continue dropping further. So I would recommend canceling this because it's too far down. I don't think it's going to swing back up. If it does swing back up, it's probably not going to hit CP. It's probably going to swing back far enough and then come right back down. So keep that in mind. I guess for now, we'll just start scalping. So looks like we're looking for sells, guys. We have a sell bias now for the DJ. And we'll see if we have anything that pops up from here. But other than that, I think that's about it for now. So let me go ahead and take a look at everything else here. I already finished looking at NZD CHF right there for you, Chelsea. The next up, we have NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam, and then GBP NZD for Dahlia, or eDahlia, sorry. Let's see if there's anything else here. Bitcoin said, check US 30. You forgot US 30. Shawn, your US 30. Yeah, no, definitely. I looked at US 30. We already marked it up earlier for this buy stop. It was a pending buy stop, and then now we canceled it because there's just no move there. Same situation right here with US 30. We're not just going to enter a sell because it broke structure, right? I mentioned that if it broke structure and closed, we're going to look for entries here. We're not necessarily just going to hop into some sells. We're waiting for some entries. We're not just taking trades off motion, because as soon as you enter this trade, it's probably going to spike up and stop you out, right? You have to wait for an actual entry before you enter it. Don't just take a trade because you feel like it's going to drop, because it can easily retrace back at this point. It's already dropped. Let's see, it's dropped about 1,500 pips since market open. So it's probably going to retrace back a little bit. So we're waiting for a retracement back and waiting for an entry to form for a scalp entry. We're not just going to take a trade because we think it's going to drop. We're going to take a trade because we know it's going to drop. So we're going to wait for that. Let me see if there's anything else that we're missing before we continue. So let's check the IG sentiment. IG sentiment is still 61% right now for US 30. So 61% of retail traders are short on the US 30 market. And it's probably going to spike up. I don't think it's going to drop that like smoothly. I think it's going to drop a little bit, and I think it's going to spike up to stop people out, and then it's going to come back down. So this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the spike up, and then we're waiting for it to come back down, because we don't want to hop into it right away. The last thing you want to do is enter a short position here, like right there, and then it ends up spiking up, stops you out, and then it comes all the way back down. So that's pretty much what we're looking for over here. But until then, we're just going to be waiting for that entry to play out. So let me go ahead and take a check for what else is going on over here. Nice. Gonzo said, hopped in that USD MXN buy. We in profit. Nice. Okay, cool. So I think you guys looked at what I was analyzing earlier. I just analyzed the dollar peso right here. And yeah, looks like it's going to swing up. If this ends up closing above here, I think you should be good, Gonzo. It's going to keep pushing up even further. So just keep that in mind for that. Other than that, let me see if there's any other questions before we continue on. Peter said, could it be that US 30 NASDAQ is dropping because Bezos is stepping down from Amazon? Possibly. You know, that's a lot of speculation there. There's a lot of speculation that the market's going to crash, and that's why Bezos stepped down, because when the market does crash, you know, someone has to answer the questions for Amazon, like, why did your stock crash? And I'm sure that Bezos just doesn't want to deal with it, right? So that's probably why he stepped down, like before the madness happened, because there's gonna be a lot of, like, when the market crashes, guys, it's not going to be nice. It's gonna be crazy, and there's gonna be so much stuff going on with the CEOs of companies that are, like, you know, running these big companies that are, you know, because the thing with Amazon is that it's super overvalued. I'll just pull it up for you guys real quick. Amazon is super overvalued right now. So it's bound to drop. You know, it's going to drop at some point. So be ready to buy those dips, because like look at Amazon, dude. It's like super. I mean, if I go on the weekly, it's probably even worse. Yeah, you can see here that's nothing but a straight upwards push, right? And it just keeps pushing higher and higher. And I think it's way too overvalued right now. So you know what's probably gonna happen is it'll probably drop a bit, probably dump down, or I mean, it just depends on how far it's gonna dump. It'll dump here or it'll dump lower. It'll probably dump to where the pivots are, because you can see here, whenever price does dip, it only dips slightly below the pivot and then it shoots back up. Same situation over here, price comes down slightly below the pivot, and then it swings all the way back up. So that's kind of what I see happening here. If it does drop, it'll probably drop to the pivot, which is still a big drop. Let's see, it's about 600 and it's about 600, 700 bucks. So probably from that point, this is how far it'll drop. And then if you do want to buy from there, you can always buy the dip from this point and then ride it back up, because Amazon's not going anywhere, but it's probably going to have some sort of dip at some point. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of speculation in the market that the market's going to crash soon because of what's been going on the past couple of weeks. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't think this is directly affecting the indices, Peter. I think it's just, I mean, it's definitely not a coincidence, but I don't think it's affecting the indices that directly, because I don't think Amazon is even in the US 30, is it? Let me check. US 30 index, US 30 index, what do I call this? CNBC. Yeah, so let's check this out. The Dow. Yeah, I don't think Amazon's on here. Yeah, they're not. So the Amazon isn't in the Dow 30, so it shouldn't be affecting the US 30. I know it's in the NASDAQ though. Yeah, it's right here, Amazon. So it is on NASDAQ. That's probably what, you know, well, the NASDAQ in general, look at all these reds right here. The entire index is like going to shit right now. So this is going down. The Dow 30 as well, it's going down as well. They're all, majority of them are red, right? So that's going to indicate that prices are probably going to keep dropping. But see, like I mentioned here, this is probably going to spike up. See how this green candle came up? It's probably going to push up a little bit, and then it's probably going to come back down. So that's why I wouldn't enter the trade just yet. Be patient, guys. Don't hop in right away, because you don't want to get caught in any of those reversals or swingbacks. So that's it for that right there. Let me go ahead and take a look at the other stuff. Mary wants me to take a look at USD CHF. So Mary, USD CHF, and guys, it's 741 right now. I'm sure you guys have like heard what I mentioned earlier. There's been issues with YouTube and the connectivity. I always end up getting disconnected around like 9. So if you guys have questions, make sure to put them in your chat, in the chat now, so I can answer them for you. But I think by 9 I might get disconnected again. If that happens, you know, we'll probably have to call it a day early. But just keep in mind, I do have mentoring sessions today at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and again at 7:30 p.m. So if you guys want to sit in on those sessions, make sure to like this stream and follow the YouTube channel and turn on notifications. So when I go live for my mentoring sessions later, you guys can sit in. YouTube will know that you want to see my videos, and they'll send you an email to notify you that, you know, hey, Shawn's going live for a mentoring session. Click this link if you want to sit in, and that'll be available to you guys. So US 30 is playing out exactly like I mentioned, right? I mentioned not to enter the sell right here because I said it was going to push up, and look what's happening here. It's pushing up just like I mentioned. So don't hop into trades right away, guys. Be careful and be patient, because the last thing you want to do is enter a sell right here because you think it's going to keep dropping, and then it does the complete opposite on you, right? It's all trade psychology, guys. You guys have to look at it from a different perspective and see what other people are doing. Like if you're thinking to sell, a bunch of other people are thinking to sell too, right? And if you do that, do you think the banks are going to do the same thing? They're going to do the complete opposite to stop you out. So just keep that in mind. Don't like act off emotions. Only take trades when there's a valid entry available. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to hold off on this until there's an actual entry available. So let me see if there's anything else real quick. Hamizan said, thank you, Shawn. I made 200 on US 30. Nice, Hamizan. Congrats. yeah, if you guys are patient and you guys just wait for the trades, you guys can make some pretty decent money off these trades. Just be patient. When I call a trade or a scalp, then that'll be a green light to enter. But for right now, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for this to actually confirm before I take those trades. And I'll show you guys what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a rejection. I'm just going to replay this to, where's the entry that I saw earlier? This one right here. So I'm waiting for a rejection, a wick rejection off the K2 pivot right here and off the K2 SR structure. So when we have this right here, we insert a short position right here for about 500 pips. And then when that plays out, we catch that ride to full TP, right? So that's one entry right there. If you want to go back and look at another entry, there's actually another one right here as well. So we have that green one. We also have this red one next to it. Rejection off the pivot, rejection off the structure. We take another short position right there. Same difference, 500 pips each way. And you can see that both of those trades right there, if you were to decide to take those scalps, they both would have hit full TP. So there's like one right there, two right there, another one right here, another one right here. So there's about like 5 entries right here and 2 right here, 7 total. If you took all of those right there, they all would have hit full TP, right? And that's why I'm being patient and waiting for this to actually come up and test the structure before I take that trade. Because if you wait for it and you're patient, you can actually catch this as like a snipe move, basically, just like I showed you guys up here. So that's what I'm waiting for there. I'm going to turn on this alert so that I can be notified when it hits the pivot. So I'll know when to look. So right now, no point in us just watching it. We're going to look for other stuff right now until this ends up pushing up and testing the structure, where it'll give me an alert. So let me see if there's anything else here before we continue on. Here, let's see. Like Juan said, US 30. Yeah, so I already analyzed US 30 for you guys. It's not really there's not really much to look at right now. I'm just waiting for that entry, and then we could take that scalp. But I'm not going to enter just because. Vishnu mentioned, oh, Varun said took US 30 self scalp on the 15-minute. So let's check that out real quick. So let's see. Varun took it on the 15-minute, and this is what I mean about the time frames don't really matter, guys. If you guys are scalping, because you guys can see here that we've used this on the 30-minute. So for example, here's the 30-minute. And if you guys see this right here, yeah, so if you guys are applying the scalp strategy, the same strategy I was just discussing on the 30-minute, look at the same thing right here, guys. See this, where's it at? This green candle right here. This green candle right here, rejection off the pivot and the structure. If you were to take that trade right there, so this on the 30-minute, obviously your stop loss TP is going to be wider. So right here, rejection up that point, you'd probably go for like 1,500 pips off there. And if you were to take this trade right here, it would have hit full TP for 1,500 pips, right, on the 30-minute. Varun mentioned the 15-minute scalp. So if you go on the 15-minute, it's the same exact thing. We do this. We identify the rejection off the zone and the structure. Let's see. So we got that right there. Actually, this is one big zone because they're all connected. So Varun took the scalp right here on the 15-minute, and you guys can see here that it works on any time frame, right? Same situation right here. There's a bunch of entries on the 15-minute actually right here. Rejection off that point. So if you took that trade right there, off that rejection, full TP right there, about 800 pips. Again, right here, there's another one. Rejection off this point. Another short position here. So if you guys have the indicators, you guys can do this on your own. Another 600 pips there. Another one right, like literally right next to it. There's 2 right there actually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries right here. If you guys wanted to take this for US 30, full TP right there, 600 pips. Full TP right there, another 600 pips. full TP right there, another 600 pips. So like 3 to 4 back-to-back wins on this 15-minute time frame. And this is what Varun just took. So if you look at the chat here, Varun said it took US 30 scalp on 15 minutes. So if you did that, I mean, you could be perfectly fine. This one right here is a little risky though. I don't know if this one would have played out right, but it's still technically active right now. I think on the 15-minute, your spread's gonna, I mean, your range is gonna be a little bit wider, not 600 because it's too close, maybe like 900 or 1,000. So if you do that 900 to 1,000, it's still technically active. So it's probably gonna drop from that point. I personally don't like scalping on the higher time frames because there's more risk. I'd rather just take a $500 loss rather than risk 1,000 when I can take multiple trades off the 10-minute. But this would be the scalp entry for the 15-minute if anyone decided to take it. But like I mentioned, I don't trade on the 15-minute for scalping. I trade on the 10. So I wouldn't have identified this, but it looks fine, Bruno. I think it's going to pull back a little bit. It was like I mentioned earlier, you know, on the shorter time frame over here, when it drops like that, it's going to come up, test this pivot, and then probably reject right off it. So we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, definitely, if you took these other entries over here, these would have been full TPs. For sure, like this right here, 1,000 pips. That's a full TP right there. And then same with the other ones as well. So that's like full TP right there. It's 1,000 pips. Another full TP right there. Another 1,000 pips. Another full TP right there. Another 1,000 pips. Another one right there. 1,000 pips. And you can just stack these up. So there's like 4 or 5 trades right here, all for full TP. So if you took all these right here, you'd make 1,000 pips each. And then this last one right here, if this ends up not playing out, it'd be fine because you already stacked up your wins right here. So that looks good for the most part. Back on the 10-minute over here, I still have my alert set up. It hasn't touched the pivot. Once it does, it'll send me an alert. All right. So let me see if there's anything else here that I missed before we continue on. ComCon said, how come no FTMO parameters anymore? Because they're not required. The numbers are pretty much the same now. With regard to the new symbol on FTMO ComCon, so you don't really need it. So I got this alert here. You can see that US 30 has touched the pivot. So it did exactly what I mentioned, right? I drew this like a few seconds ago. I said it's going to come up, test the pivot, and then come back down. And that's exactly what it played out right here. But I'm not going to take it because there's no entry. For me personally, there's no entry, so I'm not going to take it. We need a zone here for it to reject off. We need this right here. Let me show you an example. We need this. We need a rejection off a pivot and a zone for me to take that entry. I'm not going to take this here until we have a zone in that area because this can easily push up higher to here. See how it's pushing up? It can push up to here or even up to here and then wick down. And then we could possibly have an entry right here. You see how price kind of comes down, then it wicks up, hits the pivot, then it comes right back down. That's kind of what I'm waiting for right here. I'm waiting for that confirmation before I take this trade so that I don't get in too early. So that's it for US 30 right there. Let me see if there's anything else to look at. Vishnu said, IG sentiment for UK 100 is 76% long. Seems likely to be better than buys. Yeah, definitely Vishnu. Let me check UK 100 real quick. Yeah, check that out right there, Vishnu. It ended up swinging up like pretty hard. So it looks like the market is pretty much bouncing. It's rebounding back for every indice. S&P as well. It dropped heavy. Now it rebounded up there. This might be some decent entries as well. Let me see if the zones are cool. Yeah, zones look good for the most part. So we can probably take a look at this. I'm not going to take any trades for S&P because I don't necessarily trade it, but we can take a look at it as well. So S&P is right there, NASDAQ as well. Let's see if there's any zones up here. Oh, this whole area is a zone. Looks like. All right, you got a US 30 momentum candle right there. Let's draw that up. I'm not going to trade NASDAQ either. I'm just going to mark it up for you guys so you guys can see what's good on here. So right here for NASDAQ, if we have the wick rejection off this pivot right here, it'll probably drop even further. Right? Looking for that wick rejection, exactly what we see right over here. wick rejection off the pivot and the structure. So if you took that trade, where is it? Right here. Yeah, so for example, here we have the wick rejection off the pivot and the structure. If you guys were to take that, short position right here, full TP for about 350 pips straight down. So that's basically what we're looking for, is it right there as well. So waiting for that to confirm. US 30 right here, it's doing what I mentioned earlier. It's probably going to push up to this structure right here. And if we have that wick rejection, we'll be able to take this trade. So we have about 6 minutes left on this candle. When it closes, we'll come back and take a look. Otherwise, we're going to keep waiting for this confirmation to satisfy our requirements. Yeah, Peter said when market crashes, we'll catch all those sells, definitely. Braden mentioned morning. I heard something about eligibility may be needed to get the next stimulus check. The market wouldn't like that. Exactly, right? David said the entire stock market is artificially inflated. When that bubble pops, it's going to go straight down. Exactly, right? Mahmoud said, I took a huge spike earning 1,082 USD in just 5 hours from US 30 only. Nice. Yeah, Mahmoud, so you probably caught that drop, right, from over here, because you said that in just 5 hours. Yeah, so you probably caught the sells right here that were appearing. So look at US 30, guys. It's setting up perfectly. I'm probably going to take the self scalp right here. We have the rejection off the pivot right here, this yellow pivot, and it's also rejecting off the structure, right? So if it ends up closing, it has to close below this yellow pivot, though. If it doesn't close below the yellow pivot, we're not taking the trade. But if it does, then we could possibly take this for a scalp here. We have about 5 minutes left on this candle, so there's still a lot of time. So meanwhile, I'm going to look at the other questions here before we look at this, because it hasn't fulfilled yet. It has to close below this pivot. If it does, then we'll take that trade. If not, we'll just wait for the next valid entry that appears. So 4 minutes left on here. Let me see if there's anything else. Kel said, yo, Shawn, I just sent a message on Telegram on why US 30 dropped like that. Nice. Let me go check you out real quick, Kel. See, Kel said, what's up, bro? I've been checking out your lives recently. You helped me tremendously as far as really understanding the markets, backtesting some of these, just like your new sniper strategy. I found another golden strategy I wanted to share with you that I found because of you, ironically. I'm not part of K2, but I think it'll also help everyone in K2, making trade more stress-free. I'd like to set up a call to show you why US 30 did drop. Yeah, definitely, Kel. We'll set up an entry. I mean, a meeting, with you later. I'm kind of like fully booked this week, but this strategy does look good. It looks really nice. It's kind of similar to nice. It's hitting 150 pips. Nice, bro. Yeah, it pretty much does the same thing over and over, right? Like when it breaks structure, like I mentioned right there. Like I don't know if this is the same structure I drew earlier, but you can see here, when it breaks structure like that and it rejects off the pivot, kind of similar to the scalping strategy, it drops pretty nicely. So that's a really nice profit right there, Kel, if you lock that in. And you said anytime 2 consecutive highs are created on the 10-minute time frame using pivot points. Oh yeah, okay. So you're using pivot points. It's kind of similar to the zones. It's just like with my zones, though, they just automatically populate. For these, I mean, obviously it takes some time, but it looks like it does play out pretty nicely, right? Yeah, rejection point off the pivot points right there. It's kind of similar to the so that's 30,685. Let me see where my zones are. 30,000. Oh, it's exactly on point. See this? My zone right here, 30,685. It's the same price that you identified right there using these pivot points. So you took that same entry that I looked at right here, actually, this one right here. So you took that one right there and you said 1,500 pips off that to straight to full TP. Awesome. Look at that. Check that out, Kel. Nice. Smashed. Yeah, so pretty much this is how we do it. I mean, it lines up with my strategy as well. It's just that yours is a little it's just one less confirmation, right? It's not as it's similar, but it's not the same, but it's very similar. So like right here, you had the structure drawn. So it broke that structure, it rejected off this pivot right here. And then you had your SMA right there. So it lined up. Your strategy is pretty similar to the scalping strategy that I use. That's pretty good. Glad that you locked in some profits off that. I wish I locked that in. I just didn't take this one because this happened at 4:30. I was still asleep. I barely got in at this one over here actually, 5:40. I literally woke up at 5 o'clock. I walked over to my office. I saw these rejections right here, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna enter a sell." So I entered my sell right here, and I locked in like 500 pips. But yeah, that 1500 would have been nice, all the way down there. All right, so we got about a minute left on this candle. We'll see how this plays out. Sorry guys, my DM's getting like blown up right now on Telegram. Just looking at my phone. All right, cool. So we got about a minute left on this candle. Let me go through the chat real quick and see if there's anything else that I missed out on. So Varun said to check your Telegram, Shawn. Varun, let me see where you're at. Yeah, Patricia, this is Pacific Standard Time. Varun mentioned, I just discovered a new strategy on DAX. When the first signal comes on the 10-minute time frame, just hedge, take a hedge on both sides with 1 to 2. It's about 750 to 1500. One of that position will surely reach full TP, and on that's 1500 pips loose. Yeah, it's not bad, Varun. So Varun has a new strategy that he's looking at for DAX. So I'm gonna go add that to the list as well. So let me just we'll just take a look at it real quick, just to actually let's wait. We got 25 seconds left on this candle. This might be a scalp entry right here. So let me just wait for this to close real quick, in case we want to take this trade. We got about 10 seconds left on this candle. Let's see if it closes below. If it does, then we can take it. If not, we're gonna hold off. 5 seconds left. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. No entry there, guys. So we're gonna skip that for now. We'll look at that DAX strategy real quick for Varun real quick, because he mentioned that he had this new DAX strategy that he likes to do. So let's go to DAX real quick. So we got the German DAX right here. Okay, so your strategy here says when the first signal comes on the so Varun, for this the first signal, is this signal after London Open? I'm assuming it's London Open, right? So you send me that message at 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. right here. So the first signal, so if I turn this off here, because we're not using this. Yeah, so you mentioned the first signal right here, which would be the sell signal. You would take a 750 to 1500 pip long position and a short position, right? So right here, you take a long position for 750. I'm not sure how the DAX is calculated. Is it calculated like this? I'm assuming it's 750, right? You just add the 0 to it. So I'm assuming it'd be 150, 75. So yeah, if you took this for a long position right there, it looks like you would have guaranteed, like you mentioned, 1500 pips. And you said you take it both ways. So if you take it that way and you take this way, you just hedge the position. 150. Yeah, that actually looks pretty solid, Varun. Yes, you did the math, guaranteed 750 pips, pretty good win rate. So that's the one from yesterday. Let's see what happened on the next one. So that's the second. Let's go back on the first real quick. I'm just gonna look at this one more time, guys, and then we'll go back to what we were looking at. So here's another strategy right here. So you guys can see here that like in K2, guys, it's not just me creating strategies. We have like the whole K2 group. Like everyone finds strategies and we all share them with each other. It's we literally act like a family here at K2. We don't hide anything from each other. If we see something good, we end up sharing it with people, and then we go from there. So let's see, 75, 150, or no, 150, 75. Yeah, this looks like a pretty solid strategy for the most part. Varun, looks like it hit full TP right there off the DAX. So that would have hit full TP right there. I mean, obviously you take staggered positions. So you lock in like 750 each trade, which is not bad. Like I would take that like any profit is good, guys. Like you guys got to keep in mind that if you're positive profit like daily and you just keep compounding, it's pretty good right here. I mean, the only difference that would be risky is when the market is whipsawing. Obviously, that would cause some crazy movements in market. But other than that, I think for the most part, it's pretty much good. So this would have been a win too. I mean, they both would have been a win in one direction or the other. You know, let's check out one last one just to see how accurate your strategy is, Varun. All right, so right here, same thing. Long position right there. 150. I'm not sure. So I'm kind of confused whether it's 1,500 like for the calculation, or if it's like 150. Because I think 1,500 is kind of too wide, right? Or I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't trade the DAX, so I don't know how the calculations work for this. I only trade US 30, so that's what I'm familiar with. I'm assuming it's 1,500. So if I do 1,500, why did I do that? 1,500. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so if you took this one in that direction, that would have been a loss for a buy. But if you took it for a sell, like you mentioned, you would have hedged your position right there for a win, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, so it'll stop you out, or I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Yeah, I would have to back test this because I'm not sure how the valuations work, if it's 750 or 75. But it looks like if you took this one here, it might have lost both ways. Let's see, 750, that lost that way. And in the long position, I think this would have lost too, right? Yeah, because if this happens, you end up getting a double loss, right? So this is kind of a risky strategy, bro. Maybe there's something that you could use. I don't know if it's something that I personally would use because it just looks a little risky on my end after looking at that strategy you showed. All right, so I'll take a look at that later. Maybe I'll back test it a little further, and then I'll see, what we decide to do from there. But all right, let me go ahead and take a look. All right, so Tam locked in some nice profits this morning. Let me, the other one's not loading, but I see Tam's profits. She said, not too bad of a morning. She made about 600 scalping US 30 right there. Yeah, she had that buy stop there that we canceled. The other picture's not loading, but let me go ahead and see if I could load this up right here. I want to see what else Tam made off that. Nice. Yeah, so Tam locked in about 300, 600 off these two US 30 sells, and then another one right here for another sell as well. So nice work on that, Tam. Not bad at all. So I'll forward that to this right here. All right, other than that, I think we're good. Let me go back to our charts, see what else we're looking at here. US 30. Yes, no entry right there, guys. We're waiting for that confirmation, right? We're waiting for the rejection off the pivot and rejection off the structure. Once we have that, we can take these trades. So guys, it's about 8 o'clock. Just a reminder, in case I get disconnected, we'll just cut this short because YouTube has issues with their streaming, or for some reason I keep getting disconnected around 9 a.m. So if I get disconnected, we'll just be cutting this session short. I'll try to get through all your questions before we get disconnected. But other than that, I'm gonna have to talk to YouTube to get this fixed or use a different platform to trade live, moving forward. But I just didn't have time to really find a new platform today. But I'm gonna try to get through all your questions today and then hopefully catch a scalp before we log off. I think overall today's been pretty decent. Let me check my profits. I think I took one scalp this morning on all my accounts. Let me see. Oh yeah, I took like a small scalp on mine. I'm just checking my profits real quick to see if everything is balanced out slightly. All right, cool. Yeah, not horrible, but I mean, I was wishing we'd take some more trades. But yeah, let me go ahead and John said at 9 a.m. your neighbor woke up and is using the microwave oven. Exactly. I don't know what's going on. I bought the Ethernet cable. Like me and David were talking about the Ethernet cable thing. I'm using Ethernet now, but it still has a connectivity issue with for some reason YouTube. So I'll have to fix that. But I think if I get disconnected, just keep that in mind, guys. That I'll be back live a little later today. I have a mentoring session at 2 p.m., another one at 4 p.m., and then a last one tonight at 7:30 p.m. And then I'll have small sessions in between. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, let me go ahead and take a look at the questions over here. Hey, Samurai, how's it going, bro? Let me see if there's anything else right here. Any other questions before we miss out on this? Let's see. Matej, I'm in Pacific Standard Time. Kimmy's asking, are you going to post your scalps in Telegram if you get disconnected? Yeah, Kimmy. So if I get disconnected, I'll try to share my scalps in the Telegram. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is when I take my scalps, I'm just going to take a screenshot and then I'll send it over to you. So what I'll do is I'll take like a short position like that. I'll take a screenshot. And then once I have the screenshot, I'll post it in the group. I'm not going to post the parameters because it moves too quick. You'll just have to look at the screen and you'll see here that the stop loss is the red and the TP is the green right here. And the entry point is going to be this black number. So just keep that in mind when I do post my scalps, because the market just moves way too fast. When I post them, you got to take them right away. Let's see if there's anything else here before we continue on. Yeah, Talanji said it definitely works on all time zones, and it works even better when they all add up. Yeah, exactly. Talanji, when you have those stack positions, you can make a ton of profit doing that. Sam said, how can we get the K2 indicator on my trading view? So Sam, if you want to get the K2 indicator, go on the website, k2trades.com, and then click on K2 strategy course right here. This will give you access to the K2 indicators where you can apply these same strategies that we're applying over here. US 30 signal to buy signal. So we'll see how that plays out. Let me see if there's anything else here real quick. David said you can still risk 590 pip move, LOL. Yeah, I mean, you'd still lower your risk definitely for the other strategy that we're looking at. Oh, man, I was hoping this candle right here was going to close below this yellow pivot so that we can take this this trade right here. So I'll hold off on this right now. It looks like it's starting to drop further, but we'll have to wait for that actual entry to confirm before we can take it. Kimmy mentioned for the K2 pivots index setting, is the precision supposed to be a 2? Yeah, so if I go over to the K2 pivots right here, where'd you see that precision at? Oh, I see it. It should be at default, Kimmy. I don't change mine. It's just at default, and that's where I leave it at. So we got level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. I don't know if that makes a difference. Does it make a difference? I don't know, but I'm gonna leave it at default because I'm not sure what that's for. My coder sometimes he creates these indicators for me. Like I give him the logic and he creates the indicators for me, but sometimes I'm not sure what this. We probably talked about this when I created the indicator, but I can't remember what it was for. So I just leave it at default. Wow, look at this drop right here. And I wish this right here would have closed below further, because if it closed below further like this, where we had the rejection off the pivot and the structure, we could have taken this short position right here and it would have been pretty nice. But unfortunately, things don't always play out as smooth as you'd like it to, especially with scalping. So let me continue on with these questions real quick before we continue. Deswell said pending buy signal on US 30. Yeah, I just saw that right now, Deswell. It's pending, but I don't think it's going to push up that far. Shawn said, hey, Shawn, I came back to see you all using US 30.cash. Is there any changes regarding lot size if I'm trading FTMO 10K? Yeah, so the lot sizes are now back to standard lot sizes, Shao. They're not how they were before. Like before they were like 10 lots would be equivalent to a 1 lot. Now it's back to normal. It's a 1 lot is equal to a 1 lot now. So don't use the mini lot sizes anymore. Make sure to use the standard lots, Shao, if you're trading US 30, because you might blow your account if you go too heavy. So instead of a one lot, because I think you're using a one lot before, now use a 0.10. You just got to move the decimal over by one. Raymond mentioned, is it possible to change the yellow color of the pivot to a darker one, please? I mean, technically I can, Raymond, but I'm not going to. If you have the indicators, you can do it yourself because I'm already used to these colors here. I don't want to change them. And then I get thrown off because we have one color different, right? I could literally just change them like that to blue if I wanted to, but I already know what the yellow means. So sorry, but I'm not going to change them on my own chart. But if you have the indicators, you can change them on your own. Just click on K2 pivots here and then go to yellow and then change it to another color. If you want it red, it's just, I already know what the colors are and I know what levels they are. So I don't want to change it to something like blue and then it's going to throw me off because I'm already used to yellow. So I'm going to have to leave it at yellow, Raymond. But if you do have the indicators, that's how you would change them. Just go to the settings and then go to the yellow one right here and then change it to whatever color you like. I mean, you guys understand, like when you guys are used to one thing, you don't want to change it because it'll just mess you up and throw you off your groove. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And let me see if there's anything else here as well. ComCon mentioned, is Varun's strategy first signal after London Open? I believe so, ComCon. That's what it seemed like. Hey Slay, how's it going, bro? Let's see. Last Samurai mentioned hedging on Renko blocks does well. I've never personally used Renko blocks before, but I don't know. Maybe we can take a look. How do I change candles? Renko blocks. Oh yeah, they look pretty solid. See, the difference with this though is that they're not like by time, like they're not by 10-minute, right? They're kind of different, but I can see that they're kind of solid here. Yeah. So looking at this here, whenever we see the wicks, wow, good call, Samurai. So Samurai mentioned this. We have the wick right here, wick rejection. It looks like we don't even need the zones. I mean, we don't even need these little structure things. That's pretty solid. Okay. Okay, Renko. Thanks for the tip, Renko. I'm going to take a look at this because this actually looks pretty nice. Never thought about that. It might be for bigger moves though. Maybe go for like, instead of 500, go for something smaller. Or who knows? I'll have to play around with this. City said I trade US 30 with Renko. Saucy. Yeah, no, definitely. It looks like yeah, it looks like all you really need is a rejection off the pivot. You get a rejection off the pivot and then you can take this up. Interesting. Yeah, I've never used the Renkos before, so I'll have to go and take a look. But that actually looks like something pretty interesting. Let me just pull it up over here real quick. So if I delete everything off this chart, I go on the Renko candles over here. I'm not sure what time frame would I put it on. I'm assuming like 10. But yeah, just looking at this here, let me see if there's any zones that we. Yeah, the zones don't necessarily work that well on the Renko because it's different the way that these charts move. But I guess we can just take a look real quick. Let's just take a quick look before I check the other stuff here. Yeah, this looks pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if this, because we do have the rejection off here, rejection off the pivot and rejection off the zone. So if I was to see that right there and we take, say a long position right here, rejection off it, dang, full TP for about 2026, 2260. Again, right here, we have another rejection off this point, another full TP. Yeah, these are actually pretty solid. Rejection off the zone, rejection off the structure. This is something that I'd have to look at. But definitely, thanks for the tip, Samurai. I've never really thought about this. Yeah, for the most part, these look pretty solid. or it looks like you don't even really need the pivot. It's more so if you have the rejection off the structure, like right here, rejection off the structure, you can kind of just take that trade and they just go straight to TP. Just wait for a wick rejection off the Renko. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Never really thought about this. Yeah, Eric did mention you do have to have an upgraded TB account to have Renko bars. Yeah, this looks like a super high win rate. I mean, this would probably be a different strategy. It's not going to be the same where we have the same requirements, because obviously you can see here that they don't necessarily fulfill the requirements every time. I mean, when they do, they actually hit though. So like right here, this hits right there, full TP, and they're for bigger moves too. Rejection off this point, full TP. Like the win rate on this is pretty high. It's just something that I would have to test to make sure that it's actually applicable, because I know that the charts move a little different when you're doing it real time. But I mean, overall though, it looks pretty nice. I only have to set up a separate chart for me to identify that. Let's see, CT mentioned just in room, didn't hear, but are you looking at US 30-minute pivot and structure short? We're technically waiting for that scalp right here, CT. We're waiting for it to reject off the structure and reject off the pivot so we can take a short position. But yeah, if I go on the 30-minute, let me see what you're looking at right now, CT, because I think it looks like you might be looking for something over here, right? So we do have a zone right here. Another one right here. Oh gosh, okay, I see what you're looking at, CT. So you're looking for that pivot right there, right? So I can see that. Yeah, if this closes right here the next 9 minutes, this could possibly be a short pivot entry right here, or I mean a short entry right here for a scalp off the 30-minute. That's something I might take, CT. I might take that with you. So if this closes right here in the next 9 minutes, next 10 minutes, I guess, this could be a decent scalp downwards. But it's on the 30-minute, so it's going to be definitely a wider range. So if this closes right here, I'll probably take this with you, CT. But yeah, thanks for reminding me for that too, because I wasn't really looking at that at all. All right, let me check this real quick and see if I missed anything else before we continue on. Braden said, yo, Shawn, if the market were to crash, do you think gold and silver would skyrocket? Possibly. Most likely, yeah, but I mean, we'll have to see how this goes. Byron said, what's your email? Byron, my email is Shawn@k2trades.com. So just SHAWN@k2trades.com if you want to send me that DNS thing. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, so this doesn't look like it's going to close out, CT. I'm just trying to follow this here, but it doesn't look like it's really going to close out. It looks like it's having some issues trying to break past it, or break below it actually. So we'll have to wait and see if this plays out. If it doesn't, then we'll just wait, because we can have this right here as well. If this rejects off this point, we can possibly have a scalp downwards if it rejects off the pivot and rejects off the structure right there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let me see if there's anything else to look at. Thanks, Byron. Appreciate that. Yeah, CJ wants me to take a look at NASDAQ on the 30-minute. So I'll take a look at that after. So let me see. I'm going to look at NASDAQ for Super Sam anyways. So we'll take a look at that on the 1 hour, 30-minute, and the 10-minute. So we'll look at it for the intraday move, 30-minute, and for the scalp as well. ComCon said, I think Bitcoin will skyrocket when the market crashes. I think so too, ComCon. I agree. See, ComCon said, look at NASDAQ and JIR 30 when waiting to see what US 30 will do. When you miss a move on US 30, you can catch it on S&P. Yeah, because I've noticed that the move starts on the DAX, and then it goes down to NASDAQ, and then US 30, and then obviously S&P after. But I'll go ahead and take a look at these real quick. Let's see. All right, so we have a NASDAQ 100. I'm going to analyze that real quick before we move on. I'm going to try to be quick with your questions, guys, because like I mentioned, I've been having issues with connectivity to a YouTube live stream for the past couple of weeks, or like just 1 week, I guess, where I get disconnected around 9 o'clock. So I'm going to try to go through all these questions before I get disconnected. Otherwise, I'll be live for a live session today at 2 o'clock. If you guys want to sit in on that, just make sure to like the stream and to follow the YouTube channel so that YouTube knows that you want to watch my videos, and they'll send you a an email whenever I go live. So I'll be live 3 times today, and that'll you'll get that notification that I'm going live. So let me just mark up these zones right here so I make sure these are good. All right, that's good. All right, everything's good. So once these are all set up right here, we're going to turn on the momentum indicator to determine the direction of momentum. So we see CT sent me his chart for NASDAQ. Nice. So yeah, here's CT's markup for NASDAQ on the 30-minute. Looks like he's waiting for it to push up, reject off that, and then take that sell, right? So looking at NASDAQ over here, I'm going to pull up my chart again real quick. And this is a chart from one of the K2 members, CT. This is not mine. This is one that CT drew. And then we're going to line it up with mine as well to see how we think this is going to play out. So looking at the NASDAQ on the 1 hour chart right here, it looks like, so obviously we have a sell bias. We have a rejection from this point. We have a sell signal, which broke structure right here. And then what happens right here, guys, if you guys have been following along, when price rejects and it gives a sell signal and it breaks and close past structure, it pushes down to the next structure right here. So what can happen from this point is price can either swing up or it can break through it and continue down further. So it continues and breaks down further and closes below here. So if this happens, what do you think is going to happen from that point? It's probably going to keep pushing down further and test this structure down here, right? So that's kind of what I see happening here. This is my bias off NASDAQ. I don't think it's going to swing back up. I think it's going to keep dropping, but we'll have to see. People might be buying the dip and it might swing back up, but who knows? We really don't know until it happens. So that's it on the 1 hour. I'm going to go on the 30-minute over here for the NASDAQ. I'm going to go and check out these zones to see if there's any zones here. All right, so we actually have a zone up here. We have a zone down here. So there's a bunch of zones right here. So if you guys took the NASDAQ yesterday and you guys were scalping it, it looks like you guys could have locked in like some pretty massive profits off these moves over here. So if I hide this right here, you can see that the NASDAQ right here on the 30-minute, if you took these scalps right here, so here's one, I mean, there's a whole bunch here. If you just look at the chart, there's like literally so many here that you could have taken. There's one right there that would have hit full TP right there. There's another one right here. There's 2 actually right here. This red and green candle, they both would have hit full TP right there as well. 2 full TPs. Again, over here, there's, so I think that's about it. So there's 2 down there. And then looking at NASDAQ right here, I mean, there would be no entry here on the 30-minute. We'd want to wait for it to possibly come below here, swing back. So I'm like basically for NASDAQ, I'd be looking for a break and retest, right? I'd wait for it to break structure here, retest it. By that point, this pivot is going to be down here. So if I get a rejection off this point right here, then we catch this right downwards, right? That's exactly what I would be anticipating and would want to play from that point. So this is what I'd be looking for on the 30-minute. Obviously, there's no entry right now because even if price comes up and tests the structure over here, then it's just not going to be enough because you need the rejection off the pivot as well. You need something like this, rejection off the pivot, and rejection off the structure, but it could reject off the pivot here, but no structure. So that's why I'd want it to come down a bit and come back up so that it can reject off this point right here. Let me check CT's chart. I'm like wondering, oh, because you're on Awanda, so maybe that's why our zones are different, CT, because I don't see those zones on mine. I don't really like Awanda data. I feel like Awanda data is kind of oh, I'm on Awanda too. What the heck? So we're both on Awanda, but I don't know why I don't have that zone, but you do. Huh. Yeah, CT said my internet is jacked today. Yeah, not sure what why our zones look different, CT, because your zones, you have a zone right there, like where price was spiking down, like around here, but I don't have one on mine. Yeah, that's weird. It usually doesn't do that. But I mean, yeah, we'll still be waiting for this to provide for an entry. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else next before we move on forward. Flint and Shawn, I hopped in the US 30 sell with 2 standard lots. Wow, you're pretty wild right there, Flynn. So Flynn locked in a. I think you should be fine though, Flynn. I think it's going to drop definitely. It's probably going to retrace around this area, but I think eventually it'll drop. So you should be good, Flynn. Samurai said the notification always lag. Do you schedule the stream to start in like 30 minutes? It gives notification chance to catch up with you when you go live. Yeah, Samurai. So when I do go live, I do set it to a later time. So I don't know why it does that. But I mean, yeah, it's something that's on the YouTube side. I have to go fix that and see what's the issue. I might have to just use a different platform because I'm using Zoom right now. So I might have to just switch over to something that's more real time to fix that. But yeah, I do set it like probably 10 to 20 minutes ahead, or I set it to post the link up later, but it ends up, people still end up joining the chat before it even gets posted up. Concon said, sorry, not sure if I stepped away. If this question is answered, why don't you drop the FTMO parameters? Concon, so we don't drop the FTMO parameters anymore because the pricing is the same. It's not really that far off where you need to set different parameters. Nice. So Flynn, you're like literally on your, you're literally trying to push that, right? So you should be good. You have 2 standard lots for a sell. So hopefully it drops for you because you have 2 standard lots for a sell right here. Oh, you should be more than fine, Flynn, because if your stop loss is 1,500 pips, you got a long way to go. So I think you should be cool. All right, let me see if there's anything else over here. Here, let me just check this real quick. All right, let me get through all these questions real quick before I get disconnected because it's getting close to 9. I don't want to get disconnected and your questions didn't get answered. So next up, we have GN for Idalia. So I'm gonna pull up GN real quick. GBP NZD right there. Looking at this, I'm gonna zoom out from here, go on the 4-hour, take everything off the chart. So here's the naked chart right here. I'm gonna analyze it from scratch so you guys can see how I do everything step by step. I turn on the K²SR indicator. I draw my zones right there. And you guys can see how easy it is, right? Like this isn't, it's not rocket science, guys. It's literally you turn on the K²SR and you draw your zones over the K²SR zone so you have some cleanup on the chart and you don't have a huge mess all over when analyzing things. So once we've drawn this, I'll turn this off right here. And then you can see that we have some nicely drawn zones all the way up from today, all the way back till July. So July of last year, it's in the same price zone. And then again in 2019, and then again 2018. And you can see how these zones continue on like way far back. So with that said, we go over to current price. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the momentum indicator and analyze it. So right here, we had a rejection from this point. We had the sell signal right here, and then it pushed down to this point over here, right? From there, we had a retracement, rejection from here, sell signal. So it's the same pattern repeating itself, right? Rejection, sell signal, test structure, retracement, rejection, sell signal, broken structure right here. So it broke structure right here, and then and write this down from there. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is the opposite. So right here, we'd be looking for a sell. If we're looking for a sell, that's what we'd be looking for to take this trade. Vice versa, if this ends up swinging this way and we get a buy signal somewhere over here, and price continues and closes above here, then instead of taking a sell, we would take a long position, right? So do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's the same pattern over and over again. So for example, here, this would be the sell. For example, here, this would be the buy. We have the rejection from this point. We have the buy signal right here. And then it broke and closed past structure. When that happens right there, it pushes up to the next structure right there. It's the same thing in the opposite direction. So this can either close below here and then drop further, or it can reject off this point right here, provide a buy signal like it did right here, and then close above here, then it'd probably shoot up in this direction. So that's my analysis for GN right there. Next up, let's see if there's anything next. We have USDCHF for Mary. So I'm gonna try to get through these questions real quick. I just don't want to get disconnected before your questions get answered, sorry. So USDCHF right here, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing I just did for GN. Delete everything off the chart, zoom out, turn on the K²SR indicator. So we got this down here. That right there. And then we just have one big zone right here. We'll just engulf all these other zones. So with that said, we need the higher zones on the 8 hour right here. You have one zone right here, and another one right there. So once we have that drawn up, I'm gonna go back on the 4 hour, turn off the K²SR zones, and then turn on the momentum indicator. So looking at USDCHF right here, it's the same exact pattern that I was mentioning earlier. We have the rejection down here. We have the buy signal right here. And then when that happened, it pushed up to this structure right here. We had a break in structure right here. So this entry is technically active right now for a buy for whoever, decided to take this trade. This right here would be, that'd be the setup right there. So I could technically call this as a late entry if I wanted to. I'm probably not going to though. But just looking at this here, this is the setup. Since price broke structure right there, we're anticipating this to push up and test this structure. When it reaches that point, it'll hit the full TP, and then you'll get out and profit before it ends up doing something else, right? So that's pretty much it for there. Other than that, that's pretty much it for USDCHF. Since we have an active position right here that would technically have filled at this point, this is going to be the bias for this trade until we have something otherwise. So that's it for USDCHF. And I think that's about it for the questions, guys. So let me go back to US30 real quick, see if we have anything here. Price is still pushing up. It's pushing up. We would need a rejection off the pivot and the structure. Once we get that, we can take the scalp move. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that we could possibly look at. Yeah, we did look at NASDAQ already. I guess we could look at the DAX. So if you guys wanted to look at the DAX, I think some of you guys like to trade the DAX. Here's the DAX on the 30-minute. Let me just redraw these zones. There's a ton of zones here on the 30-minute. Yeah, so it looks like there's a couple entries that could have been taken here on the 30-minute. I'm not sure if any of you guys took it, but if you guys did, looks fine for the most part. All right, cool. So this looks good right here. Just looking at the DAX right here, we had, let's see if there's any entries here. I mean, there's a bunch of entries here. I'm not sure like what would have been good or not because I don't trade the DAX. It looks like the market was choppy right here. I probably wouldn't trade this area because if you look here, you want to trade where price is actually trending up, right? You don't want to trade where price is just going sideways within a little range right here. But for example, right here, if you're trading the DAX and you took this during, what was this? London session, which is perfect. You want to trade this during like the session that it's actually being traded, right? So for example, here, if you were to take this trade over here, it's at 4 a.m. It's like midway through London session. If you took that trade, long position right here, or there's a couple entries. There's like one there and there's a red one right there as well. So that would have been full TP. And then this red one right here as well would have been full TP is right there as well. So those two would have been full TPs. Other than that, I think, yeah, that's about it for that. These over here are messy trades. I probably wouldn't take these right here. It looks like there's an entry right here that you could have possibly taken for a scalp. This red one. So this would have hit full TP too. So technically, I guess there are decent trades that you could have taken there as well. It's just, it's just risky. So that's a win right there. Nothing here. I think this might have been a loss. Let's see, long position. Actually touching the pivot, so we'd skip that. Or technically you could take that. Looks like this would have hit stop loss. And then if you guys know the rule that I use when I hit a stop loss for scalping, if I hit one stop loss, then I take a break. Like if I took this right here for a buy, I'm not taking any more buys. I'm waiting for it to swing below and then I'll take sells from this point instead. But if I have one stop loss for scalping, I take a break and then I move on to the other direction. Just keep that in mind. That's one rule that I use. It's probably going to be explained in the course when I have the actual video ready for you guys. So back to US 30. I'm just checking real quick. Here on the 10-minute, no entry off there. I'm going to go back to the 10-minute, the 30-minute over here as well. So this is technically an entry, CT. I'm not sure if you took it. This is technically an entry right here on US 30 on the 30-minute. So like, for example, right here, this would be the entry. It just looks a bit risky. I don't know, I'm thinking about taking it maybe, but we'll have to see. Sure, no problem, Mary. Patricia said, check US 30 on the 10-minute. So I'm looking at it right now. Patricia, let me see if there's anything else here. So there's no new zones. The zones are the same. You can see the chart right here. It's the same ones that I drew earlier. We're still waiting for the same thing. We're waiting for the rejection off the pivot and also off the structure, which hasn't happened yet. So I'll probably be waiting for that. And we'll see. I'm hoping I don't get disconnected from YouTube. I could already feel it coming because it's happened every day for the past 4 days now. I think it happened yesterday, it happened the day before, and it happened on Friday. So we'll see. Patricia said, oh yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I see what Patricia means. We have a buy on the 10-minute actually. So this is actually a buy scalp right here. I missed that, but thanks for mentioning that, Patricia. So this right here is technically a buy scalp for US 30. I missed it. So unfortunately I didn't take it. I don't know if you guys took it, but it looks like Patricia might've taken it. So this is technically active right now. The reason for this is because we have the rejection off the pivot right here. So you guys look here, we have the rejection off the pivot and we have the rejection off the structure. Pivot and structure, it fulfills the requirement for the scalp strategy. So unfortunately I missed this. I was too busy like looking at other things. I was too focused on a sell that I missed this buy right here, but it looks like it's about to hit full TP. I'm like wondering if I should just hop in for a quick little, like just to catch it, hit the full TP. Let's see. About 6 minutes left here. If it pulls back down, I might just buy into it and then hold it to that full TP. It's a spread like right now. Spread's about a pip. Yeah, whatever. I took the buy. So I took a buy right now. I'm just gonna manually trade it. And then if it once it reaches TP, I'm gonna exit it. But this is a scalp right here. Thanks for catching that. Patricia, I didn't even notice that. Nice, Sisuk took it. So some of you guys did take it. If you guys have the indicators, obviously you guys can apply this on yourself, like on your own. You don't need me to call these trades for you. But yeah, good call for that, Patricia. Thanks for reminding us about this entry, and nice job on that, Sisuk, as well, since you're currently in the trade as we speak. I just entered a small entry, like a small standard lot. I'm just going to catch it. I'm manually trading it. I have the trade running right now. Once it pushes up and hits TP, I'm just going to manually close it. I'm in profit about $100 right now, $200. Nice. Okay, $300, pushing up higher. Keep watching it. There we go. All right, nice. Looks like it's about to hit TP right there. I'll send an alert there to let me know, when it hits TP, because I already set it up. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'll keep that running right there. Thanks for that tip, Patty, or Patricia. Sorry, I called you Patty. And then we'll see how this ends up. Yquart, it's the parameters for this are right there. The TP is going to be at 30,702, and then stop loss is at 30,602. It's about a 500 pip range between the stop loss TP, but it looks like it's about to hit TP. So it looks good so far. I'll leave that there for a second. Let me check the chat, see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Saquon said, "Man, I'm glad I got down with this team. Shawn, you dope, bro. Yeah, definitely, Saquon. I'm glad you joined the team too, bro. So like all the new people here, we're gonna be in for a really good year, guys. You guys have seen the profits. Everyone's been locking in every single day, and we're just gonna keep rinsing and repeating that every single day. It's pretty much same thing. Apply these little trades here, little scalps, and then the daily moves as well, and then we should be good. Because the last 2 weeks when I introduced this new strategy to you guys, literally everyone in K2 has been killing it. I mean, you guys make more profits than me, and I'm the one that's teaching you guys. Just looking at everything here, it's crazy, guys, because I've never seen like this much consistency with like the entire team, right? Like Tam over here, if you look at all of the posts here from Tam, she's just locking profits every single day. Braden right here as well. And I have months and months of profits from everyone here too. So this is what I like to see. I like to see when you guys profit. Because obviously if you guys are winning, I'm winning, even though I'm not making any profit off it. Because I like seeing everyone pass. Like Henry over here passes FTMO, Victor over here, Kasim over here, Arik over here. You guys can see that these are all like actual real K2 members here. Tam again locking a couple $100. Jermaine over there, $10,000. Sam K over here. Yeah, you guys have been killing it, guys. You guys have been doing better than me, so I'm getting a little jealous. I might have to focus on my own trading so I can catch up with you guys. But yeah, everything looks pretty much good for the most part. Yeah, Sisuk said got stopped out, but had a good profit for the day so far. Nice, Sisuk. So Sisuk's out of the trade. He took the scalp right here, locked in some profits, then pulled out. So he should be good. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Samurai said, see the last red zone on your US 30 chart. See how the moving average lined up with your zone. You have the MA and zone rejection price. Exactly, Samurai. Yeah, definitely. Looks like a really good trade. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for the questions right now. I'm gonna see if there's anything else that we want to look at before we continue. But we'll see how this ends up playing out from that point. So let's see, ComCon. Over those questions. Raj said, "Hey Shawn, the new strategy works on any assets and timeframes." So this strategy, I haven't tried it on any other timeframes. I know that it works on the 30-minute and the 10-minute, depending on which asset you're trading. But I haven't really tried it on anything else, Raj. But I would assume that it works on all time frames because people trade it on the 15-minute. Some people trade it on the 5-minute. Some people trade it on the 30-minute. So it's really up to you how you want to use it. If you ask in the group, you can see what everyone else does. But I only use it on the 10-minute and the 30-minute. So I use 10-minute for indices, and then I use 30-minute for Forex pairs and for gold as well. So I guess for the most part, it does work. You just would have to back test it yourself to make sure that it works properly. Let's see if there's anything else here real quick. Concon said, do people share their entries in the premium group? Yeah, they do sometimes. For the most part, Concon, let me see. Yeah, there's certain people here like, yeah, JKX over here showed his trade right there. So some people show, they show their entries whenever they take them. I mean, it just really depends like who shares them. Not everyone does, but some people do. Arc right here, he took that sell, locked in some profit right there, 390. Who else? I mean, there's a good amount of people who share their trades. Like right here, share that trade UK 100. CT shares his chart sometimes too for his little scalps right there for GU. Nice TP right there. Same with the dollar index. Mark as well right here. And you guys can see, I mean, not everyone shares their trades, but majority of people do. Like even right here too, like Israel here took this this scalp right here, and check that out, straight to TP. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are in the premium, you guys can see that all that stuff. If not, then you guys can only see what we cover here on the live stream. Yeah, Talanji said feels like it works on the 4-hour too. It should work on all time frames. As long as there's volatility in the market and there's momentum, then it should work pretty nicely for the most part. Here's the US 30. Looks like it's about to hit that full TP. It's on its way there. See how far is it from there? It's only about, it's less than 15, it's less than 150 pips to full TP for that scalp right there on US 30. If it ends up swinging up like this, I'll be taking some more scalps as well. Because now that it swings up, the next time it pulls down, it's going to keep pushing up from there. So let me just pull this up over here real quick. I got to get this right here. Some of you guys already know what I'm getting prepared for. For you guys that are that have been part of KT, you guys know what happens when we hit some TPs. Let's give it a few seconds. Looks like it's almost there. Waiting for that right there. It's going to keep messing around until it hits that full TP. It's almost there. So if you guys are in this trade, I would probably just close it out, guys. I don't need that extra 100 pips, right? If you're already up here, I'd close this in profit. Because, what are you going to risk? You take your money off the table. You're already in profit like 400 something pips. You're in profit like 400 to like 450 pips. So I would just exit in profit if you guys are in this trade. If not, you guys can just let it run and let's see how it plays out. But, when you're this close to profit, I would just close it because the market is NFP, dude. So the market's moving kind of crazy and it's going to keep bouncing around. So it might cause, unnecessary risk if you end up just holding on to it. But if you do want to hold on to it, you should be fine. Yeah, Life Plus mentioned 10-minute is good for indices and 30-minute for Forex. That's exactly what I do too. Suhul said, any advice for a serious 15-year-old Forex trader? I mean, the only advice I could tell you is to keep practicing. The more you practice and the more comfortable you get, the better you'll be at this. I've been trading for 10 years, Suhul, so I have a lot of experience, under my belt. If you want to learn how I trade, just go on the website here, kttrades.com. And then you can sign up for the free intro course right here. If you sign up for this, it'll give you access to basically all of my strategies. The only difference is that you won't have access to the K2 indicators that you'll need to apply the strategies. And you don't have access to the premium groups, but you'll have access to the public groups and you'll have access to my entire strategy course. You just won't be able to apply them. You'll see how everything's applied and how I do everything, but you won't necessarily be able to apply it because you won't have the K2 indicators. So if you want to take a look at that, feel free. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. And you can just learn everything. And if you wanted to, sit in on these live sessions with me every morning, I go live every day at 6:30 a.m. And then I just trade live for you guys and answer questions. So here we go. About to hit that full TP. Almost there, guys. Full TP for 500 pips right there. So we'll give it a few seconds. There we go. You guys already knew what I was signing up on that. Full TP right there for US 30. Hopefully you guys caught that. I locked in some nice profit off that as well. If you guys want to send me your profits, send them to me on the Telegram or in the groups, and I'll save that to our saved profits for the day. So for the day, we've had some pretty decent profits so far. We had Tam over here locking about 200 off that account, another 600 off this account. Braden over here locking 440 on his account. Arik 390. Flynn 2,250 off that Bitcoin. Flynn another TP for 461 off Euro NZD. Kimmy for about 805 profit for the day. Mark about 1,483. Mark again for 544. Sisu a couple $100 there. Another win for Sisu, $1,000 there. A couple $100 there. And so on. So profits are pretty nice for this morning. If you guys want me to share your profits, just send them over to me. I'll add them to the list. And by the end of the day, I'll be sharing them in our public groups if you guys want me to. So looks pretty good for the most part. Byron, I canceled my daily entry for US 30. So I don't have that pending anymore. I mean, technically it looks like it's swinging back up right here if you wanted to. Actually, yeah, if you took it, it's technically active now. So it finally filled right here. But I